I'm Victoria Kesselie, a Liberian. I did my first degree at the Don Bosco Polytechnic, presently called Stella Maris. I did business administration. And then I worked with the Liberian Bank for Development and Investment, LBDI, for 4 years. After that, I went to the United Nations mission in Liberia, and I worked there for 6 years in the procurement session. But not being satisfied with what I have done or what I was doing at that time, I decided going into doing human development. And doing that, I had to develop myself. So then I resigned my post and then I went to Kenya, Nairobi in particular, attended the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, called Koya for short. I did education. Before doing masters in education, because I did business administration, so I had to do postgraduate diploma in education. There were all this counseling business came about. I did guidance and counseling and taught for a while, and then I did my masters in educational psychology. Upon my graduation, I came to Liberia. At that particular time when I came, I took it to be an unfortunate situation. But looking into the situation, I take it to be a very much fortunate situation. That was in May. I arrived here in May 15, 2014. That was, everything around here was Ebola. So it was like, well, why am I here? But then, looking at the education I have received from the most prestigious university in Eastern Africa, a holistic education, so I had to be balanced in the society, do what I can do in the society at that particular time. It's nothing about regret. So I had to get on my feet and do what I could do as a Liberian, not only a Liberian, as a human being that value other human beings, and not waiting for salary or anything. That's how I started doing counseling at that time. Using my counseling techniques and using my educational psychology profession, blend everything and started to help people. So my first case in Liberia, I was like, but what could I do? And this thing is so fearful. But what actually gave me courage was when I was invited, because I went to Sister Barbara at Mother Pattern. And I told her, I am ready to work. What can I do to help in this situation? She said, Victoria, you are ready to work? I said, yes, but we don't have money. I said, no problem, but at least I can do something. So she incorporated me in a team, the educational aspect of Catholic Church response to Ebola team. And then that's how I wrote the literature on recovered persons. And why did this Dr. Tim that came to Liberia to actually help the people, gave them awareness about this Ebola, how are we going to kick off to fight Ebola? Somebody told me about him. Then he told me, Victoria, you are a psychologist. And then I said, yes. He said, we have people from the St. Joseph Catholic Hospital. I'm sure by now you have heard about the crisis that went on in the St. Joseph Catholic Hospital. That was like a blow. And I said, yes. I was kind of nervous. Then he said, you need to help those people. There is a particular case you really need to help. I was like, and then he told me, I remember his word. He said, if you don't, it might be late. So then I got up to see what I can do with the help of God. Then I went and saw the patient. no other monetary value, nothing. But I felt happy that I can do something. The situation at that particular time, I knew there was something even beyond treating people in the ETU. That is the psychological aspect, the emotional support. They needed support. They came from the ETU with fear, a lot of confusion within them. Who is going to accept me? Who is not going to accept me? I was treated like less human being. The manner in which I went to the ETU, or I was responsible for infecting other people. How am I going to live with that guilt? Those things cannot be treated tangibly. So there was psychological support came in. So involving my patient and the client as they are called, helping them to really understand, not intruding in their privacy, but making them to understand what they have been going through. They needed somebody to listen to their story. And listening to a story psychologically is different from any other listening. So encouraging them to say their story. So most of the problem will not be solved like if they have lost their loved ones, but how to cope with the situation in which they found themselves in, and how to be able to make their own decision to live peaceably with other people in the society. People that I have dealt with, at first, they actually did not know the importance. So it had to do with a lot of awareness, telling them what it is. Most time people think psychological support has to do with the mentally ill, the crazy people as we call it in Liberia. Yeah, so it was like confusing. Who am I going to tell my story to that they wouldn't be able to say it to people? Who is going to treat me with dignity and respect? So all of those things had to be explained to them. And after, if I doing a session, they get to realize how important it was. Because when a person is crying normally, somebody that is not a professional will say, don't cry, oh, let it be so. But a professional person like me will allow that person to cry. That person in our African setting normally, it's not okay for them to cry in front of the children. Take a widow for that matter. You are crying, the little children are looking at you. How are they going to feel about you? So she has to keep her feelings, suppress her feelings. One of my clients, I asked her, what do you expect? What is your expectation after telling her who I was? What is your expectation? She says, after this session, I don't want to cry anymore. I want to be able to say my story out to people. I want to be able to think about what happened and gain strength and courage. So when that person is able to do all of those things, then they appreciate the service.